Welcome back to Politics Tonight, everyone. Thank you very much for staying with us. Nigeria has a history of fractured opposition that has been unable to mount a serious challenge to the ruling party. As we all know, a strong opposition is crucial for any functioning democracy. It enhances accountability and transparency in governance. Beyond mere political representation, robust opposition is critical in providing a healthy check and balance to the actions of those in power. However, Nigeria's political landscape has long been plagued by power struggles and a lack of genuine opposition. With the current turmoil or crisis in most of the opposition political parties, the opposition politics have a future in Nigeria. Also beyond the power struggle, why is a strong opposition party crucial for Nigeria's democracy? Joining me for this conversation tonight is Dr. Abayomi Arabambi, Publicity Secretary, Labour Party, and also Boot Party National Chairman, Mr. Sonny Adenuga. Good evening to you, gentlemen. Thank you very much for joining us on Politics Tonight. Happy New Year, and it's so good to see you both.
Good evening. Happy New Year, Jumoke.
Right. Yeah. Let me start with you, Mr. Adenuga. Before we start this conversation, let's help ourselves with some recent developments as regards this conversation. In the last few days, the national chairman of the APC, Dr. Abdullahi Ganduje, says he received no fewer than 40,000 campaigns from various political parties in Katsina State. And according to him, the new entrants include thousands of members of the PDP, NNPP, and the likes. Despite people moving into the APC, it looks like the ruling party itself is fractured. You have Nasir El-Rufai recently accusing the APC of poor leadership, is encouraging opposition parties to set aside their differences and form a united front ahead of the next election. Today, there was chaos at the PDP headquarters during a meeting of the party's BOT. There is also Yakubu Dogara, who is surprised at Bauchi State Governor Bala Muhammad's verbal attacks on the Minister of the FCT. For the Labour Party also, there is also the Julius Aburo versus Obedient movement led by Peter Obi. What exactly is happening with Nigeria's opposition party? Mr. Adenuga, let me start with you.
Thanks, Jumoke. I think I'll put it this way first and foremost. Let's look where the problem lies in our constitution. The Constitution of the Federal Republic doesn't state categorically the role and functions of opposition. However, you can assume by virtues of different provisions in the constitutions, a good example, freedom of association. Then, of course, the Constitution also allows for different political parties. So there are a lot of assumptions there. However, we expect that if you have a political party like ours and any other political party out there, the sense of belonging to a political party should transcend beyond an individual. But what we've seen in our dear country is a situation whereby politics is too much skewed towards individual interest as against the interests of the political party they even represent. You ask yourself, look at the show of shame in PDP. I think that was their secretariat, but you can imagine board of trustee meeting going on, and you ask yourself, these people fighting, could they be fighting for PDP? I doubt. It's probably their personal interest. And we should also look at where the problem lies in. You see, by default, the parliamentary system of government encourages, they tell you that in parliamentary system, you vote a political party. Whereas in presidential system of government, which we practice, it's all about individual. And that's why today you will find individuals in Nigeria, they don't even belong to a political party. Then let INEC announce election, give out the timetable. They start calling you. They start making a lot of, I'll put it, offers. And you'll be asking yourself, I've had to conduct a lot of interviews for candidates who wants to represent our party. And you will be it's so shameful to even say some of the things that someone is coming to a political party, wants to flag the flag of the party in an election and cannot even say basic things about the party. You ask, what's the full meaning of Boot Party? And you'll be asking yourself, what is this? So we can, personally, I don't like the idea of dealing with symptoms, but we need to look at the troubles, the problems themselves. So I think it's necessary for the Nigerian National Assembly to start thinking in that direction, something that's going to make the opposition to be organized. And of course, please, I always tell people when APC try to make themselves look big and comparing themselves to PDP, it's terrible. PDP is abysmally poor organization, is poor political party. And when you now see someone like APC comparing themselves to PDP, it's terrible in the first instance. How can you be comparing yourself to an entity or a person being poor? Imagine being in a class and someone has failed and you're saying, oh, I'm better than the person that has failed. I mean, what does that look like? Now, the point there is this. The structure of democracy we have today from 1999 to date was clearly established by the PDP. And you can still see clearly they are the leader of opposition in Nigeria. And if at that level, this is the soul of their organization, their party. And yet they cannot put themselves together. But of course, that doesn't mean that we shouldn't be able to say that the government of today, like the APC, I personally tell people that, look, under the APC, Nigeria is losing the war against corruption, for instance, insecurity, and the economic hardship seems even increasing. But we see recently also where the former vice president was in an event just a few days ago, and he made a blanket statement.
So before we get to that, Mr. Adenuga, because what you've established tonight is that the fragmentation within political parties is due to political desperation. And with most of the opposition parties in one escalated crisis or another, thankfully you're the national chairman of both parties, so you can speak on behalf of your party, whether or not it's united enough. Are we headed for a one-party state, a one-party system?
Well, as it stands today, I always tell people, don't ask me a question if you hate the truth. The truth in Nigeria is that majority of the parties in Nigeria is money that governs them. So it is whoever that spends most. So for them who think that, oh, we're going for a one-party state, of course, it's money that drives most things in Nigeria. If you don't have money on the table, even when the likes of us who try to play beyond the basic level and we stand for our words, people still even doubt. They think like, oh, it can't be true, you know. I remember
But Mr. Adenuga, money politics is not peculiar to Nigeria, is it?
But the way, yes, in as much that it's not peculiar to Nigeria, look at what is the difference in Nigeria compared to the likes of America, of this world, even in Britain or any other advanced country. When you look at politics within our system, if you approach any of the, let me call it, frontline political parties now, those who have members in National Assembly, and you say you want to run for governor, Jumoke, the first thing they will ask you is how much do you have in your bank account? Do you know why they ask? It's not because you want to give them the money. But nobody wants to waste their time with a candidate who doesn't have the resources. Unlike in America, you hear about, most people donate towards party development. Before now, our forefathers, those who were in politics before us during the days of Sardauna, Awolowo, and Azikiwe, people contribute. Like they belong to association, they contribute to party development. That does not exist today in Nigeria. It's all about money. And majority of people who are responsible leading our political parties, it's all about money. There is no integrity anywhere, and it is extremely difficult. So that makes it easy for any government, like APC today. There will be there was an accusation by the former vice president that they are paying opposition 50 million naira, and you ask yourself, of course, they know who they are paying. And I asked at the forum where I belong to, I said, well, unless somebody is impersonating the boot party, we do not collect such money from any individual. And I've not had anybody to respond to me. But the point here in Nigeria is this. We are running a money politics. And let's not shy away from it. Party development is difficult. Party development in Nigeria is so difficult. You look at INEC today, nobody sponsors political parties. You remember the last time, Jumoke, and I was telling you that, you'll be surprised how many Nigerians who does not know political parties are not funded. That it is Sonny Adenuga's little meager money that is got, and members of our National Working Committee.
Yeah, I remember that conversation.
But you will be alarmed to know the number of Nigerians who actually still think, as we speak today, that maybe government give money to parties. And in some of the activities that have been conducted by the National Assembly, we've put our proposal forward. I'm not saying come and give both party money or come and give somebody else money. But the point here is that there are some of the activities of the party that government could vote money for and ensure those money are used for that. So that's just the situation we have found ourselves as a country. And when you look at this, it becomes difficult, extremely hard when political parties have to be looking for money, here and there. How will they even focus on policies of government and being able to review and carry out a top class level of policy analysis? Rather, they just pick and choose. Of course, in the recent time, you see the tax reform bill. It's all about what comes to me. It's not about the whole of Nigeria as a whole. And people start using it for opposition purposes. You just ask yourself, where do we belong here? So these are some of the challenges, those of us who have put our heart in the ring to hope that we can make some difference in Nigeria are facing. And that is why it's extremely very difficult.